With only 5 days to go, the price action of XRP has found itself a little stagnant. In this video, we're going to jump down into the technical analysis on XRP and kind of give my thoughts and opinions on what I think is likely to happen next. My name is Nick. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Let's jump right down into this video for XRP. So we're going to start off with Elliott wave theory, I think, and then jump over into the smart money concepts, which is what you see here. So let's jump over into our Elliott wave theory structures to start with. Now we are paired up with USDT. We're using the 1 hour chart, and Binance is our data source at the moment. As you can kind of see, we have what I think is an irregular flat correction. Okay, and this is still possible that this is incorrect. I guess this is kind of more what I hope it's to be, and there's only really going to be 2 or 3 options. There's basically 3 options here, the way that I can see this. Let me actually show you what they are. Let me just find some empty space. So we've got a 5-wave structure, right? And it's looking like this, okay? And that is, if I bring it back up, this little area just here, right? So this little 5-wave drop. Now, that 5-wave drop can be only one of 3 things in my mind, right? Let me zoom out of this just a fraction so we can get a better view. It can only really be one of 3. So what we've got is the idea that at the moment, which is an irregular flat correction, which is that we've come down, we've come up, and then we've come down again, okay? With the irregular flat, you have an A wave that comes down, a B wave that goes higher than the origin, and then a C wave that comes down lower than the A wave. It's quite a tricky one. It has to end in 5 waves. It's the only way that that could ever go, right? Now, when you have 5 waves, and they just appear like this, you've only really got a handful of options, right? So this is the first one, and the one that I think is going on, or hope that is going on. Alternatively, there is another structure called a zigzag, which is 5 waves down, 3 waves going up, and then another 5 waves going down. And that's a slightly more bearish situation, but again, it will contain that first 5 waves, right? You can see that that's either at the end of a structure or at the beginning of a structure. And then the last one, if I bring over the 5-wave structure over this side here, I might have to actually just move that up there, is that we find ourselves in a 5-wave count in itself, and we have a wave 1 that has the 5 waves in it. We go up into a wave 2, we come down into a wave 3, up for 4, then down to 5, right? And so those are the 3 options. And so what we've got going on with XRP is what I hope to be an irregular flat, because that actually puts us in a stronger position overall, okay? It's possible, however, because we are basically stuck within the range between the wave 1 origin and the wave 5 low, it's possible that all 3 of those options are technically correct at this point in time. Okay, it's really hard to know what's going on until you get confirmation, right? And so at the moment, we don't really have a strong confirmation that we're not in option 2 or 3, which essentially is either a zigzag pattern or a impulsive pattern. But there is something going on over the last few hours that gives me a little bit of confidence. It's only a small amount of confidence though, and that is that we have an overlap. Okay, so we peaked up here, that's okay. We can also look at this as a WXYXZ. I don't think it hits the impulsive trigger points. We'll check just for our own sanity here. We'll just pull that over, and no, we failed to go to the 1.61. So it's basically just WXYXZ. That's that. Okay, so we can see that there. We could also potentially just look at it as a 3-wave structure. It doesn't really matter what it is, it's corrective. Now, as we look at this, we have this overlap. This overlap between this low and this high is actually really important, because it means that we're not doing a 5-wave drop at this point. So although it's not 100% perfect to think that we cannot go down in a 5-wave drop, it gives me enough confidence here to think that maybe we're okay. I'd also potentially look at this thing actually as a 5-wave like that, and it's a 335 right inside there. And so this overlapping structure here basically tells me that we're short-term corrective move to the downside, but at the same time, I think realistically we're probably going to have to come down a little bit further before we get that next move up. So we might find ourselves with some kind of run back testing those highs at around 54 cents soon. But I think we have to move down before that happens. There's a couple of reasons for this. So as we take a look, we can see that we have this drop, we bounced up, right? So if I measure the distance from the low to the high, move this over to our bounce here, we can see a potential move down towards 49. 49.65 and 48.96. Okay, so a little area just down here. I don't think we'll necessarily go this far. There's going to be a lot of buying pressure in this lower range, so unlikely that we're going to go all the way down into that low range there, but that's where typically you'd expect it to go. I would actually probably say we're probably going to find good support around 49.95, maybe even a little higher. Yeah, I would say that's actually an interesting spot right there at 50.42. Ultimately, we'll come down lower than our A wave low right down here. The bare minimum expectation would be 50.7, but otherwise, you know, I think in and around this range is probably where we're going to find good support and then rally from there. And ultimately, we'll look at this as a three-wave pattern from the low up towards, let's just take that low rate, the higher range of our yellow box. We could be looking at testing that existing high around 54.94. Okay, so from an Elliott wave theory point of view, it's interesting. I don't think we can see the next 5 wave drop to the downside, so I think the irregular flat, and hope that the irregular flat still sits nicely within the structure, and then we can just rally on up. Anything above 54.7 is going to basically confirm it. Moving over into smart money concepts. Smart money concepts, unfortunately, is a little bit laggy behind in this particular case. Elliott wave theory. It actually is in a bearish state of play. Now, it could be that maybe I'm just being a little too optimistic, considering 6 days to go on the HIM mini emails, and my ability to kind of think that the community are going to rally behind that could be my foolish mistake there. But for the most part, I think Elliott wave theory has tracked a irregular flat. Don't see a structure that moves us down in a strong way, and so therefore I think we're likely to break out of this bearish tag into a more bullish one. I just don't think it's going to happen right away. Okay, we can see that we're up in higher highs, also higher lows here, whilst also coiling down into lower highs, and so we can see that something's about to bubble here, and we're probably going to have to break down from this one, because it was a downward move that led into this, right down and then exit out. So continuation pattern, we should come down. Okay, so we'll look to probably test out some of those lows. Smart Money Concepts has already mapped this out for us actually quite well. 49.76 to 50.28 being the range that Smart Money Concepts would say that that's where the buyers are likely to be. So it does look like that's the range that we should be expecting, and we'll see. So I think a move to the downside, more crazy FOMO coming on in, and I think the rest of the market will be looking pretty buoyant at that point as well. So I think XRP will get some additional traction with the rest of the market also turning a little bit of green as well. So just, yeah, I think all around it's looking pretty strong at the moment. I think we can still push a little bit higher in terms of price ahead of these emails being made public. So only 5 days ago, I think. So yeah, I think we've got some pretty good stuff going on, and I think we're going to see some interesting stuff develop over the next kind of week or so. Let me know in the comments down below what you think the price action is going to be like once those emails are released. Are you expecting a big sell-off event? Is it like a buy the rumor, sell the news, or is it that you expect it to kind of launch as you see the corruption of the SEC finally shown for what it is? Let me know in the comments down below. I think it's going to be some interesting times ahead for the entire crypto space, specifically for the SEC, and whatever does come out of those emails, it could be really detrimental to the SEC's case against Coinbase, against Binance, against many other crypto firms. And I think it's about time that the public were made fully aware of the level of corruption I think is going on at the SEC and these government agencies. The billions of dollars worth of damage done to retail investors, all courtesy of these bureaucrats who are being paid to shill opinions, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm going to leave it right there. If you found it useful, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. Don't forget to join us in Discord. And guys, I'll catch you all in the next one.
We are not financial advisors, and none of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.